Showtime. Did exposing yourself to certain type of people kind of helped you develop that mentality?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by some really, really great people that, I can honestly say that they've contributed to my success. Now, these guys, they didn't know that I looked at them as my mentor. If you don't have a mentor, listen, contact me. I'll be your mentor. We all need a mentor, someone who can share some things and deposit some things in our life. But let's not get off track. I've been fortunate enough to have some really, really great guys in my presence that's been able to deposit some things within me. Okay. Now, at the time, they were not my mentor, but I treated them as my mentor by asking them the necessary questions. How did they get to where they're at? How long did it take them to get to where they're at? And what obstacles did they have to overcome for them to get to, where they're at? I took it upon myself. So as I was doing mortgages, I had a guy by the name of Bob Cantwell, okay? And one of the things that I learned from Bob Cantwell is that he was always there early in the morning, and he was always the last person to leave at the end of the day. And what I can take from that and what I can share with you guys is that if you really, really want it, because you got it in you, you're going to always be the first person there, and you're going to be the last person to leave. Because one of the things Bob Cantwell said is that you will never outwork me, because I want to show you that I deserve to be in the position where I'm at. So you're never going to outwork me.
And I think there's a lot of examples of that when you look at successful people's athletes. You talk about Kobe Bryant, for example. He said that he was a student of the game. He had to be a student of the game. It had to be the hardest working person in the room. It Absolutely. Had to be, the most resilient. So people see the results and they're like, yeah, he's up there, he's one of the greatest and all. But it took a lot of work. And you pointed out something very important. You have to be a student. Wherever you want to see yourself, you have to be a student of that first. You have to be willing to ask the right questions, approach the right people. And I think that's one of the ways that you can expose yourself to greatness, right?
Absolutely. And listen, when you're just like truly committed to it and you believe in yourself and you know that you got it in you, because you do, you got greatness within you. When you know you got it in you and you're committed to it, then you will gravitate to the people that are going in the direction that you're going. Listen, it'll never work. You can never be going in two directions when you're actually trying to get to your destination. You can't be going backwards and you can't be going forward. It's either you're going to continue to move forward to your expected end or your destination, or you're going to stop. You're not going to go any further. You're going to make a U-turn and turn around and go back where you came from. Okay. So it's important that you have to know exactly where you're going and make a conscious decision that you're going to continue to move closer and closer towards your destination. And this takes a little bit of conditioning. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes conditioning to the point to where as if you have to remind yourself over and over and over that this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today, for me to get to where I want to be tomorrow. So you do the difficult things today so that you can do the things that you want to do later. And so in doing that, you have to condition yourself to be successful. And when I talk about conditioning myself, the first thing I got to tell you is you got to have the right attitude. There's no way for you to ever be able to, make any friends. Okay. There's not going to be any way for you to move the ladder in corporate America. There's not going to be any way for you to even run your own business unless you have the right attitude. That's going to start with you. The second thing that I have to tell you is that you must be able to set measurable goals for yourself. Okay. It's important to set, obtainable and or achievable goals for yourself, because, sometimes the goal just may be too big for you to just reach in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So typically what I'll do,
break it down.
You have to break it down. Usually what I'll do is I'll divide those extremely ambitious goals that I have. I'll divide them up into, segments, kind of like you see in the YouTube, video. And what it does for me is it just makes them a whole lot easier for me to achieve. Now, once I break them up into those segments, then what I'll do is I'll only focus on what it is that I need to do to get to that specific segment or that point of my entire goal. Does that make sense?
100% should make sense to everybody, whether it's people just wanted to start something, people wanted to get into that mentality, or people who already been there. I was going to ask you exactly what you kind of touched on. How do you have daily reminders to stay focused? How do you keep that mentality? Because I know you are someone who's always enthusiastic and always in a good mood.
You're going to hear me mention my father a lot. Thank God he's still alive. I'm going to mention him a lot because, he really set the tonation for how the basics, the foundation of being successful. Let me give you a little short story. I remember when we were younger, on Saturdays, most kids would get up and they would go and play with their friends in the neighborhood. Well, guess what? My father didn't allow us to do that. He had a specific task for us to do every Saturday. You know what that was? We would go and we would hop in the truck, get us some 50-gallon empty cinch bags, and we would get in the truck and we would go and we would pick up aluminum cans off the side of the road. Now I know it's nowadays, 5 cents for a can or 2 cents for a can. That may be not a lot for a lot of you guys, but if you just take note of the analogy, just by us being able to get up, knowing that we had something that we need to do every Saturday with my father, that taught me a lesson on how to set a time, get up, make sure you get the task done, and then you stick to it. And then as a result of you sticking to it, after a couple of months have went by and we've collected those cans and we've got bags and bags of trash cans, you'll see that we made money. We didn't see the money up front initially, but we were able to see the money towards the end. And so to have that type of to keep that type of motivation at this age, okay, where I'm at right now, my father is still alive, but he's actually moved into a different role right now in my life. He's now more so a spiritual father versus being the father, to motivate. Okay, he's not in that realm right now. So what I have to do, and you guys, I've told you this story before, in the morning when I get up, while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm getting ready to take my shower, while I'm getting ready to go to the office, while I'm thinking about the things that I need to do throughout the day, I'm listening to inspirational speakers that can inspire me to get to where they are. And for everyone that's listening right now, listen, we all have things that we go through on a daily basis. We may wake up in the morning on the wrong side of the bed. One morning I woke up, I had stubbed my toe up against the end of the bed, and I told myself, you know what? I'm going to have a bad day. And guess what? Because I spoke it out into the atmosphere.
Spoke it into existence, yeah.
I had a bad day. So guys don't hear anything else that I said. You want to make sure that your attitude is right, because your attitude is everything when you're trying to become successful and to reach your goals.
And on that, first of all, I think your dad is still very inspirational to this. The first thing when I met him, the first thing he told me, you got to keep the hope alive.
You have to keep hope alive. You have to keep hope alive. That's his catchphrase.
Something that stuck with me, man. I can't even say it. But
yeah,
the attitude, how to keep that attitude, man. One thing that I feel that is important to speak about is the fact that, first of all, in this society, we're exposed to thousands of things on a daily basis. There's a marketer who pointed out the fact that every day we get about 70,000 marketing promotions or an advertisement on a daily. You don't even realize it. It goes from a logo, from a little poster, from the ads that you have to watch before you get to your video.
Yeah.
In the streets, the posters and all of that, you don't realize it, but it has an effect on your mind.
It does.
The things that you listen to, the music that you listen to, you might be putting the music in the background, but the lyrics subconsciously enter your mind and has an effect on the long term, whether you know it or not. The things that you watch, the movies, the things you could be just, I'm just watching this to pass time, but there's never anything that you watch or listen to just pass time. It has an effect, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, consciously or subconsciously. It has an effect on your mind. It shows the power of advertising. So if you switch the way you look at things and you decide, okay, I will consciously expose myself to positive things, I will consciously expose myself to successful people. That mentality, just the fact that you put it out in the universe, that, like we just said, your intentions will attract the right type of people. It will attract the right type of environment that's going to be conducive for that mentality that you already have. We need to be intentional with the things that we expose ourselves to on a daily basis, and that is how you keep that attitude of positive attitude, because it's hard. You know, I will speak for me. It's hard to stay inspired and motivated every day. You know, there's 1,000 things that could break you down. There's 1,000 things that could happen instantly and kill your whole mood, kill your whole day. But if you intentionally set yourself to have a good day, to have a successful year, to have a successful month, well, guess what? You attract the things that you put out. It'll happen to you if you believe, because you got it in you.
That's right. You definitely got it in you. There's no way around it. You got it in you. I mean, you can do it, but you know, you got to make sure you're prepared to be resilient. You got to be prepared to put in the work. You know, I see a lot of people that I talk to on a daily basis. You know, they want the seat at the table so that they can eat, but they do not want to go through the seasons or the cycles in order for it to become their time to eat. Just like you said, they may want to get in the kitchen. Well, guess what? You're not the cook. It's not your time to eat yet. The food isn't even ready. So you have a really, really, like I said before, a high stamina, high strength, and high resilience and persistence for you to reach your goals.
Like Les Brown said it, you can't always say that you can do it, but you can always say that it's possible. We kind of answer to the questions: what is stopping you from seeing greatness within? What have you been exposed to growing up? What do you expose yourself to on a daily basis? And how do we condition ourselves for success? If people didn't hear nothing else, what should they retain from this conversation?
Well, you know, number one, you have to believe that you got it in you. You do. You got it in you.
Yeah.
And the second thing that I have to tell you is that it doesn't matter how hard it gets. It doesn't matter how many days it rains or how many days it snows on your parade or on your project. I need you to know that the sun will come out, it will shine, and it's going to dry up all the snow and all the rain.
My conclusion is that regardless of your preconceived ideas, regardless of your conditioning, your environment, the way you grew up. At any given time, you have the option and the possibility to change that mindset, change that conditioning, and condition yourself for success. So no excuses. You got it in you.
That's right. You heard Anderson. If you change the way that you think, it will change your life. We want to thank y'all for tuning in for another segment of the James Ayers Show. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. We are truly on the way to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and you guys are doing a great job with assisting us with getting there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.